Hi Rahul, good morning and welcome again on this session, our weekly session.
Yes, good morning, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, Rahul, and as we discussed last video, today we are going to discuss about CV, and I'll be discussing with you the relevance of CV for foreign admission applications, and what do we mean by good CV? Is this required everywhere? And can you show us some example of the way students write and how they should write? I mean, the normal student who is writing CV mistakes he's doing, and what can be the best way to write the CV?
Mhm,
Those things I'm going to discuss with you. So I
mhm,
start with the first point, that is a CV required everywhere in all the universities, and what is its significance?
mhm. Okay, so to answer this question, first of all, I would say many students think foreign admission is mostly related to GRE or IELTS TOEFL exam.
Hmm.
It's actually not like that. CV is required everywhere, and CV is the most important document. If you're going for PhD, CV is the most important document. Going for postdoc, again, CV is the most important document. Same for masters. So CV is mandatory everywhere, and it should be academic CV, not the CV which you submit in the jobs.
Hmm.
That is different. Academic CV has different component. So yes, when you send email to the professor, CV is the first thing which he opened and check your profile.
Okay.
Generally, he doesn't read your email; he just check your CV. So it is very important.
Okay, so this thing is very important, which you just mentioned, that when you drop mail to professor, he will just open your CV instead of reading
Correct.
even mail. And maybe some students attach their cover letter or research proposal or something. So as per you, he will be bothering more about CV instead of other things,
Yes.
and maybe he wants to check couple of things. And Rahul, may I ask you at this stage itself that what do you actually mean by academic CV, or you will show that? So what is the meaning of that?
So in job CV, if you are applying for some job, maybe your recruiter is not interested in the coursework which you basically did during your master's or bachelor's. But in academic CV, it is very, very important. So it has different component than your job CV. In academic CV, you should basically mention what is your research interest. If you're
Mhm.
not mentioning that, professor would not know like in which topic you are interested.
Mhm.
Again, your research project, if you have any research experience, you have to explain it very well. So academic CV is little bit different than job CV.
Mhm.
So one thing which is very, very important for CV is formatting. If your
Mhm.
CV is not properly formatting,
Mhm.
beautification is not there.
Mhm.
If professor, when he opens your email, he opens your CV, if
Mhm.
he is struggling to find information in your CV, he immediately close it and will not reply you back. So formatting is very important. It should be
Mhm.
clean, very well written. So these components are important for academic CV, I would say.
And Rahul, you are guiding students for global universities, many countries, many places. Let me ask you: is the CV requirement in US different from CV requirement in Europe or other countries?
So mostly like there are some standard format template which you can follow.
Okay.
Some universities specifically in Europe, I would say some universities specifically ask CV to be in proper format that is called
Mhm.
Europass. But other than that, like there is no specific format. But yes, CV should contain each and every information.
Okay.
Yeah, that
So,
is very important. Yes.
yeah. So, Rahul, now I request you to please share with us the typical CV which students make and how it should be, those small inputs if you can provide.
Mm. So I'll share some tips which I observed generally students make mistakes. So if I share my screen, this is one of the CV which basically students sent to some professor.
Mhm.
Okay. And if you can see here, student is from very, very good university. He's from
Mhm.
National Institute of Advanced Manufacturing Technology, Ranchi. Okay, so if I am a professor, so this is a typical CV. One thing is, it is not complete. It doesn't have all the information. Okay,
Mhm.
so if I'm a professor, I got this thing. Okay, he's from some national institute. I don't know if I'm in US. I don't know what type of this institute is.
Yes. Yes.
But the thing, when I discuss with my professor, the thing in which he is most interested is your CGPA. what is your where is your CGPA? If you don't mention in your CV,
Mm,
then basically he will not give you reply. I don't know like whether this is a good student or bad student. Basically, I need his CGPA. This is the
mm,
first thing which is missing here.
mhm,
Second thing I would say, he's mentioning experience. Let us say he's a project JRF at
mhm,
some place. Okay, so
mhm,
he's not mentioning on which project he's working.
mhm,
If I'm a professor, I want student who is working in the same domain. If you
mhm,
are not mentioning, just mentioning project JRF,
mhm,
what would I know about from it?
mhm,
Okay, so this is the other mistake.
mhm,
He did some MTech thesis. He's just mentioning basically the topic of the
correct.
project.
Mm,
Okay,
mm, mm,
I don't know what software he used, what hardware he used. He's
mm,
mentioning something here like this is his skill, problem solving skill. This is a general thing. Like
mm,
every student like write these things. Okay.
mm,
So if he's saying I know data structure and algorithm, it
mm,
is not sufficient if you're writing just under one column that is skills. If I'm writing here, I know Python. If I'm writing
mhm.
Python here, so professor doesn't know whether you
Yes.
know or whether you don't know.
Mm,
But let me show you the example of very good CV which one student submitted when he got selection.
mhm,
Yeah, this is a typical example. It should be clean, like it should not have color, it should not be colorful or something like that. But you can see the formatting. If you open this one, you immediately know, okay, from this institute he did masters, this is his CGPA, this is the year,
mm,
this is his GRE TOEFL score.
mm,
Now I added this thing. What is my research interest? If I'm interested, what are my research interests? What courses I did? Okay,
mhm,
so professor, if somebody is finding a student on CFT, let us say,
mm,
so I mentioned this coursework like I already did in master, so he will get information. This student
mm,
did something on CFD. And other thing is, if you observe this one, whatever I want professor to read, I made it bold. Okay, if he's not
mhm,
reading each and everything, he will obviously read these
mm,
bold things. So
mhm,
this is another trick which student can
mhm,
do.
mm,
And this is the most important part, which basically helps you in the selection, which most of the student missed. If you see in the previous CV, he
mm,
just mentioned the topic.
mhm,
But here, under that topic, if you write this 4 5 points, what you did, which
mm,
software you used. If I use COMSOL multiphysics, so I make it bold. Okay,
mm, mm,
what I did in that, how I validated the model. Like this is a brief summary of your thesis. From these 4 5 points, professor will get the idea what you did in masters,
mhm,
and from this thing, basically, he
mm,
will judge like whether you are a suitable candidate or not a suitable candidate. There
mm,
are there are many other things. You can see the formatting. If I am writing the college name in the bold, here also my college name is bold.
mm,
Year, I am writing in same formatting. Points, it is everything is correct. And you
mhm,
have to mention many other things in academic CV. This is just an example. So if you want to discuss more, you can basically go to the link in the description and connect with your PhD mentors.
mm.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So what I understood is, Rahul, that the CV is written for particular purpose, and if we talk about higher education, then the main purpose is professor is
Mm,
looking for your academic background. He's looking for your research acumen. He's looking for
mm,
which academic interest you have, and what you have done in your projects. That is what professor is looking, along with obviously your CGPA and your scores and your college, and also these are the things which
mm,
we may highlight. And
mm.
beautification does not mean a lot of coloring or something. Beautification simply means writing these things in a proper format, proper way.
Correct.
So this is a
And
Mm,
one very important thing which I want to mention, like you can always bluff something in your CV. I mean,
mm,
you have to showcase your skills. Sometimes you can bluff also because in US, if you see PhD, there is no technical interview. They will not going to ask you many things. But
mm,
in CV, if you have to bluff, you have to be very careful how to bluff. For example, I don't know Python, but if I just write in my CV, in some technical skills I wrote Python, that will not work. But
Mhm.
if I mention some project and under that
Which
project
you have
I
done
write,
Python.
yeah,
Mhm.
Python. So that is a good
That
thing actually.
that proves the authenticity of your claim. That what you
Correct.
are saying.
So these things I think international students missed most of the time, and that's why they are struggling with the selection. But CV is very, very important thing.
Hmm. And now, last question, Rahul. What do you think a typical time taken by average student to prepare a good CV? How much time he will take if he starts putting effort?
If he has proper template, if he knows what to put in that CV, then it will take 1 day or 2 day. But
Hmm.
if you don't know, you're searching something,
Hmm.
sometimes it will take 1 week. But typically it will take 1 or 2 days if you know the formatting, what to put, where
Hmm.
to put. Yeah.
And how the mentors will help? I mean, suppose some students comes for your help and all. How the mentors help
Yes.
in making this?
So generally, how we do, we will share the template of the CV, the
Hmm.
student who got selection through the CV. So we shared with the student. They just have to change their information. Sequence should be same. Formatting, we already formatted the CV.
Hmm.
Which section put on the top, which at the center. Because generally, professor will read the top section. They will not go second or third page. But you have to make CV of 3 pages.
Hmm.
What to put, where to put publications,
Hmm.
where to put the information of your referees. So this is the thing where your PDA mentor will help the student.
Okay. Wonderful, Rahul. So let me now summarize this entire thing. So it was the session on CV, how it is to be written, and you talked about something which is called as academic CV. It is looks like it is only one page document, not very difficult to make. And as you said, students can make in a day or two. Only thing is, he should be aware what I am to write. And the very important point, which I don't think anybody will tell so honestly here, that you can manipulate certain things. You can write couple of things which help you to get admission in the sense. But yes, the moment you do that, you are to learn those things. Like if you say I know Python, you need to learn Python, because the moment you land up in those universities, professor really expect that you should know that. So that is something which is very important. Now I request you, Rahul, since you people keep on making so many SOPs and cover letters and CVs and all, I'll request you that in future also, if you can share good and bad stuff, like that contrast. If you show, like you have shown one CV which was not very good, but another student you have shown that is very good. But I'll request you that in future a CV comes to you, normally that is a bad only, and then you make it very nice version of that, and then you make a good CV. So in future we would like to have such kind of example from your side, like okay, this is how it was, and that this is how it was made later on. So that will be wonderful for students, because then they can compare it in a very nice way. So let me thank you again, and I'll catch you next week once again, Rahul.
Thank you.